Okay.
In the office folder on the server, we can make I'm gonna make a folder with all of it. Okay.
Ron's out here.
Yeah, the Y drive. If you open the Y drive, we could just make a folder with your name on it. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So is everybody ready?
Yes.
Larry, this is Robert.
Robert.
Rudy mentioned, how are you today? Rudy mentioned to me that he has problem with Mike, so I'll be a driver.
All right, we'll make you a presenter. All right, what do we got for today?
So first thing he would like to talk about is the how to miter fold parts.
Okay.
You gotta get everybody some emails.
So what kind of parts do you want in the miter fold?
So for example, we have a shelf in a cabinet, 3/4 shelf, and we want to miter fold it to drop the lip down by 2 inches.
Okay. So let's do it.
Or even more difficult. Make it miter folded 2 times. So let's say shelf is 15 inches, then drop it down 2 inches and return it again the same depth. So make it miter folded 2 inches thick shelf of 3/4 material.
Okay. So let's do it.
Let's do it. Then suggestions. Just basically create an article. That's what you would do, or make it as a part from part designer.
Well, I think that I would want to make it a part definition so that we can put it in any cabinet we want to, right? And assign that to a construction principle. So let's just start out with an article. We'll put a shelf in it. We'll make a new construction principle, and we'll make a new part definition. Well, so let's go ahead and just put in a cabinet that we want to put a shelf in with its miter folder. Just any cabinet. One door base, whatever. Excuse me. Right, and we want to create a new construction principle for our miter folded shelf.
So I modify article.
Yep. Go to the shelf, construction principle, let's make a new one.
All right. So I would go to ellipses of that shelf.
Yep.
Rename this
Yep. Whatever you're going to call it.
or whatever new name.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. I hope that's okay.
Works for me.
Guys, help out, please.
Right. Now we need a part definition.
I'm sorry, Larry. What did you say?
We need a new part definition.
Click on the shelf on the article tree. There you go.
So you have to expand part definition. It's got an arrow by it still.
Got it?
Yeah, there you go. So we're really going to need, this is going to be a multiple part because it's a part made up of multiple pieces. So we're going to need 4 new part definitions. One for the multiple part, one for the flat shelf, one for the drop edge, one for the returner.
So those will be on those 4 edges.
Yep.
So we're going to make a multiple part. Multiple part is any part that consists of more than one piece, like a raised panel door. Raised panel door has a top rail, a bottom rail, left and right style, and a panel. It's actually 5 parts, but we call it up as one part, as a raised panel door. So same concept here. We're going to have a shelf that's really made up of 3 parts miter folded together. We've got the shelf itself, the drop edge, and the return. So we need a master part definition, and then we need a part definition for each of those other 3 pieces. And we need a total of 4 new part definitions. Are you with me, Robert?
Yeah, I am. Just not sure where to start with.
Well, you're on the part definition for the original shelf. Let's rename this. We need a master part for our shelf. We need a part to represent the actual shelf. We need a part to represent the drop edge, and we need a part to represent the returner. So this is going to be your master part, right?
So the whole name master part will help later on.
So it's just a part definition. It doesn't matter to me what you call it.
Yeah, I just don't want it because previously I said miter fold shelf, and now I'm doing it again.
But before it was a construction principle. Now this is a part definition, so you can have the same name in different locations. You just can't have 2 of the same part definition or 2 of the same construction principles in the same category. So this is okay.
Got it.
All right, once you go ahead and create a folder, we can drop all these parts in. Scroll up to the top. Oh, in the middle where you named your part definition. See it highlighted there. Scroll up to the top and make a new folder just so we have easy access to it. All right, so on definition, up where it says definition, just right click, new folder.
Mm-hmm.
This can be your custom or something, whatever you want to call it. An underscore will keep it at the top of the list always. Just hit enter to accept that. Okay. Now go find your part you just made and drag and drop it in there. Cut and paste it wherever you want it. Didn't quite get it. Try cutting and pasting, okay?
Shortcuts don't work.
Just drag it up.
Yeah, that's what I previously did.
That's what I did. There it is.
All right.
All right. So this is going to be our master part. Let's get, it's got edge banding on edge one. Let's get rid of that. Let's set it to PRF 00. All right, save that, and then create me 3 more parts. I need one to represent the flat shelf, one to represent the drop edge, and one to represent the return on the drop edge. Call them whatever you want.
You got it, Robert?
Nope.
Just make another name it. Part 1, part 2, part 3, and 4. Like the shelf, the edge, the return, and the drop edge.
We're gonna make the top part, the lip, and then the bottom part. You're gonna make 2 parts.
Are you struggling with what to call them? Is that what it is? All right, so let's go back up and find the first part, the master part. All right, so over here on the right, we have our core material and material. The material is set to our variable for our horizontal dividers. There's an ellipsis to the right of core material itself, not the material, the core material. Hit that. That opens up our multiple part interface. So we're going to check the radio button here for multiple part. And then we want to create some construction points. First tab. Okay. So the default is 0, 1, 0, which gives us all 4 corners. So we're going to need that for the main part. So we're going to say new right there to create those. Okay. The lip down part, we're just going to give it a height, how tall we want it to be. And what about the return? What's the return distance? How much you're going to return it?
Uh,
So you've got a shelf, you've got a lip down, you got a return. How far does it return?
let's say 1/8 shorter than the top of the cabinet. That's what you mean, the depth of it?
Yeah, the depth.
No. So we have, this thing has 3 pieces. It's got the shelf, it's got the lip, the drop down, and then it has a return, you said. How far does it return?
The same as the top part. So it's the full shelf. Top and bottom would be the same size.
Oh, okay. Then this is all we need for construction points. I'm sorry, I thought I had just a small return. All right, so we're going to go to Elements. Elements tab. Over here is where we tell it what part definition do we want to assign to which points. So the first thing we have to do is hit the button for part definition, which is on the left about 2/3 of the way down.
Where?
Okay.
Okay. Once you're in the part,
We want to pick from the middle list there. You kind of obliterated it.
somewhere I get lost. I'm trying to catch up. But there's
Robert, here in the middle where our part definitions are at. Expand that a little bit, the middle column. Right. Go up to your folder there that you created. All right, so this is the top part we need first. Yep, apply that. And we want it to be the full width and depth of whatever our shelf is. So we're gonna, on the right side, you see we have the little drawing with the yellow dots. And we'll pick all 4 of those points to create our part. So that's gonna be our part. We're gonna say it's a new button on the left top window there. Okay. And you see our parts edges get numbered automatically. We need the same points for the bottom part. So let's go pick a new part definition for the bottom part.
So this one I'm just green checking.
I don't know. Bottom left, we need a new part definition. This is the top part. Now we want to go get the bottom part. Hit the button for part definition. Yep. We want the bottom part.
Again, new, and pick the 4 the same corners.
Okay, so first of all, if we say new, it's just going to put them right on top of each other. How far is the drop edge? 2 inches, you said?
2 inches.
So let's do a Z offset right below where the part definition is of 2. Now we'll say new. Okay. So they're really in the same plane, they're the same size, they're just in a different Z location. You can get a visual of this. In the upper right-hand corner, you'll see 2 little blue boxes. Yep, hit the button. That gives you kind of a graphic display, so you can see that we've got. You can hit that, grab it with your mouse and spin it around and look at it if you want to. Okay, so it shows us we have 2 parts, 2 inches of part there. All right, close this. And now we need the drop down. And actually, I didn't know you were going to make these the same size. We'd probably get it this a little easier, but we'll go ahead and make it just so you understand. So part definition, we want the lip. Okay. In this case, we need some different points. So we're gonna, at the very top, there's a row of 5 buttons. The last one looks like 4 yellow circles with red X's through them that'll detach the points. Yep. And you want to pick the point bottom left yellow circle and the bottom right yellow circle. This is a vertical part, so I only need 2 points. And so you see that picking left to right, it shows you that that part's going to be in front of those. Go ahead and detach the points and pick them right to left. Okay, so now it's in between the other two parts. You see the difference there?
Yes.
All right. On the left side, underneath the part definition, we have Z offset, Z value. We don't need a Z offset because they're mitered together, so that's a 0. The Z value is how tall this part's going to be. We want to put 2 inches in the Z value. No, not how thick, how tall.
Oh, okay.
We want 2 there. And both of these values, Z offset and Z value, can be a variable. So if this was a variable lip, a value for our lip height, we can put a variable in there for it. All right, we're going to say new to add that to our list. Now we have the 3 parts. Now you can green check it. Okay, and now we have a multiple part. That's a miter fold shelf. Notice that there's no longer a material here. And actually our Z value is 2 3/4. That's a little big. Let's go back to the multiple parts. We're going to change the Z offset on the bottom part. Hit the ellipsis to the right of multiple parts. Elements tab. The bottom part. Let's change the Z offset to 1 1/4. Not the Z value, Z offset. Z value is not being used. We picked 4 points. Z offset. Apply. Hit the apply button. All right, hit your little graphic up there to see what that looks like. All right, that's more like what we're looking for. All right, and we'll go ahead and check mark this to save it. Now we have a Z value of 2. All right, we're going to apply that. Let's apply it all the way back. So it brings the shelf in basically 2 inches thick. We'll green check that just to take a look at it. You got a little easier way to do this now that I know what you're doing. Say no. Okay, so there's all 3 of our parts put in there. Then we would just add in a profile for a miter. Well, we actually have a little easier way we can do this. But that's a multiple part. All right, let's modify article.
Good.
All right. So what if we were to set this up as a zone that had 3 parts in it? So let's change our linear division here. Yep, at the bottom. Nope, let's change discard linear division. Let's make it 1 to 2 inches to 1.
One to 2.
2 inches, 2 IN. You want a 2 inch lift, right?
Yes.
To 1. 1. Okay. That's fine. We're going to change the shelf from an adjustable shelf to a virtual. See where it says adjustable shelf? Drop that down, make it virtual. All right, so now it's just a space. So we have 3 spaces here, right? See divider and drawers, we have 3 zones. So we're going to go to that middle zone. Okay, go ahead and expand that. And we want to put a top, a bottom, and a front as an adder panel in here. Yeah, make it an adder panel, not a door. So this is going to represent our 3 parts that we need. Let's go to the top first. And we're going to make a new part, new construction principle. Let's know this is rail. Rail can use this, I guess. Let's go to, we'll call this miter fold shelf top part, something like that. All right, construction as, it needs to be a shelf, not a rail. Very top, under definition, construction as. Drop that box down, make it a shelf, not a rail. Okay. Open up part definition. Hit the ellipsis there. Then go to your folder and pick top part. Apply that. All right. Now, how far do you want to undercut it? How much gap do you want on each side?
What do you mean, the setback of the shelf?
This is an adjustable shelf, right, or a fixed shelf? Is it adjustable shelf? Okay. So we have to have a gap on each side for the shelf clips. How much is that gap?
16 on each side.
Okay, so protrusion left and right minus 0.0625. It's a negative number.
Now, all I can tell you is that I know this is what John is looking
And then how far do you want to set it back?
1/8.
-8. Leading 0. Yep. All right, lower we have connector. This has a dowel connector. Let's drop that box in and pick a blank there. Yep, just drop it down. There's a blank at the top. We don't want that. All right, go ahead and save and apply that. Let's go to the bottom and do the same thing.
Can I choose now the top part, or I have to modify the?
We're gonna make a bottom part. It's a different category. Just pick any one out of the list here that you see to be fine. Pick the first one. So then, no, not that one. That's not gonna work. That'll work. We'll rename this. This is our miter fold shelf bottom part. did that. Part definition, go pick your bottom part definition. Not going to be in the list because you haven't picked it yet. Double click it. Okay. Protrusion left, right, front. Match that up. Minus 16th, minus 16th, minus 8th. Get rid of the connection situation. Save that and apply it. Okay. Adder panel at the front. Same thing. Create a new construction principle. Then a miter fold lip. Yep, go ahead and apply it. You want to kill the line boring. Don't need the line boring. Save it. Yep, go ahead and apply it. All right, and now we want to trim this part with the trims. Remember trims, Robert? So the top and bottom, we want to miter. And then oversized previous, minus the 16. Next, minus the 16. And inset an 8. Like I said, this one will be positive. Negative moves it away. All right, green check that, draw it up. And all the parts are turned to the right. Do you know why? Oh no, I guess it's okay. Looking at it. All right, so doing it this way, you can use trims to miter it together. If we do it with the multiple part, then we have to physically go and add a profile to those edges. All right, now here's the trigger.
One second, Larry, please. All right. I'm just getting other questions.
Oh. So you're not going to actually cut 3 separate parts. You want to miter fold them together, correct?
Right.
What what we've done both ways so far just cuts 3 separate parts. Now we want to actually miter fold them together. So the miter fold trigger is located in machine information. So let's go ahead and modify the article. We'll start with the top. No, the top of that, go down to that zone we created. It's that top miter fold part.
You hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. Drill down to that zone we made. It's in divider drawers. Oh, where you were at. Probably want to name that. That's your shelf zone. Go ahead and name that so you can find it later. Let's start with the top. Right? Yep, the middle one. That's your shelf. And the other two are just the spacing of the shelf. Okay, so let's start with the top. Ellipsis. All right, so right now this has some manufacturing information. It says stretch your back. Do you see it there at the bottom?
Yes.
We want to hit that ellipsis. We need to go make the new one here. We're just going to call this our miter fold top part. And we have some default ones made if you want to use those, but I recommend just making some new ones. All right. So the trigger for this is down in the string position. So we've got it as part of the bill of material, part of the cut list. We're going to generate CNC code. String position. All the way at the bottom. Drop that box down. So when we set up miter folds, we have to say which is the initial element, which are the intermediate elements, which is the final element. Okay, so this is going to be our initial element. If you look at the very bottom of the list in the middle, see we have a MFN for miter fold in, miter fold mid. Look at that miter fold start almost at the bottom of the list now. You see it?
Yeah, right there, right?
Yep. So let's click on the miter fold start. Yeah. So if you wanted to, you could use these. There's a miter fold start. There's a string of A. Miter fold mid. Click on that one a little bit higher up. Miter fold mid.
Okay.
So you see this has a matching string to it, A. So you have to give it a string value so we know which ones go together, because you could have more than one. So you'd have to have an A and a B and a C and so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to use yours, miter fold top part, we'll just give it a string value. Call it A. A is fine. Go back to yours, miter fold top part.
So I close this one, right? Close this window.
Nope. Go back to your miter fold top part. If you created there in the list. Come on down. It's at the bottom of the list.
Okay.
There you
Got it.
go. We need a string value. So it's just given an A, be fine. All right,
Does
save
it
and
have to
apply.
be
Huh?
I was wondering if it has to be lowercase letter as was assigned to wider fold start. Or
Nope, it doesn't.
Doesn't
Nope,
matter.
it doesn't matter. As long as all of your, all of our three parts have the same string value. I mean, it can't be numbers, but it has to be some letter. We could be A, B, C. You could call it shelf, shelf, shelf. It's up to you. As long as it's a string value. I usually just go with letters A, B, C. It doesn't matter lowercase or uppercase as long as all the parts match. So go ahead and apply that. So now this part is our, actually let's go back there again. Get the ellipsis on the manufacturing info. Say yes for now. Let's go back, ellipsis, back to the manufacturing info. I forgot one thing here. So part name, what do you want to call this part? Okay, right now we just copied stretcher back. We want to call it something else. Not there. Well, nope. Come down, you see where it says stretch. No, just click off of it and click back without saving it.
You're breaking up. Sorry.
Just click off, just pick another one and go back to it. Just don't save it. There you go, go back. You see where it says part name, the very first field here?
Yes, stretcher.
Yeah, what do you want to call this part? This would be something to show up on your label.
I don't know, it could be still shelf top. Could be the rail top shelf.
Now you can call it whatever you want to. You can type any name into that field. Just hit enter once you're done typing to add it to the list. Or you can pick something that exists. It's up to you. All right. Go ahead and save that and apply it. So I just forgot to have you give it a part. All right, apply that. Yep. All right, let's go to the bottom and do the same thing. Manufacturing info.
So
Do you want to go?
now should be the next letter.
No. First of all, rename it. This is going to be your bottom part. Save it. What do you want the part name to be? Don't forget to hit enter to add it to the list. All right, so for this one, the string value of A has to stay the same. We want all the parts to be A's, so we know to put them together.
Okay.
The string position, however, this one is going to be the end part. So drop that box down. This is going to be the final element. Save that and apply. Yeah. Save and apply. Now we want to go to the lip and do the same thing, but it's going to be the intermediate element. Manufacturing information. Get the ellipsis, go make a new one. What are you going to call it, first of all, at the top? Don't forget to rename it at the top and save it, add it to the list. Okay, so string values are going to be A. We want them all to be A's, but this is going to be the intermediate element. So our top's our start, lip's the middle, bottom is the last part. Save and apply. All right, green check that. All right. That's it, other than we need to, Rudy, can you hear me okay?
Can hear you.
All right, well, he's recording, Robert, so we'll do it on yours, you'll see. So everybody has a local configuration file that we need to go add a key to in order to make this work. So I want you to browse out to your C drive. Yep, program data, OMAG eSolution. CAD CAM OEM 12. Config. And we're going to find the EMOS INI file, the EMOS configuration file. Where's your EMOS? Yep, that one right there. Yep. Just select it, right click on it, and edit it. All right, let me take a look at mine and see exactly where we got to put this. Give me a second. All right, scroll down just a little bit to where we see what database you're using. All right, right here. So you've got this IMOS DB database equals EPLA. You see that? Down here at the bottom, almost all the way to the bottom. IMOS DB database equals EPLA.
Yep.
Put your cursor at the end of that, hit enter to add a line. All right, now you're going to type in there in all caps, create underscore folding underscore parts.
What was that? Create
Folding, F-O-L-D-I-N-G, underscore parts equals 1. All right, just close it and save it. Okay, and then let's go save your order. We'll have to restart with CAD/CAM once for that to take care. That's the trigger that allows it to make miter folded parts rather than 3 parts.
Did you say restart the WCAM?
Yeah, save your order and restart with CAD/CAM. I'm pretty sure Rudy can hear me, but we have to do that on everybody's local machine. We have to add that key into the configuration file.
I saved my key.
How you gonna say no here now? Everybody made these, right? You're gonna send them to me? That's it, man. That'll go out as a miter folded part now. Questions?
Okay. Other suggestion was to make lip on the shelf going up. I would basically think that we could just get rid of upper part of that shelf and just modify the center.
Yeah, but then you would have to change your, you'd be then getting rid of your initial element. You have to have an initial element and an end element at least to get the miter flow. So you've got, if you got rid of the top, you'd have an intermediate and an end element, but not an initial, so you wouldn't get the miter flow. You know what I mean? But yeah, you could do that.
But could we do it then use the very first method that we didn't apply?
Yep, absolutely. We can make a lift up shelf that way.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Now, oh,
Do you want to save this article to your library for future reference before we get rid of this?
Oh man, who saved that?
You guys save over the top of each other? What happened?
I'm sorry, Larry? No, nothing. Why?
Okay.
So now I wonder if I would have to delete construction principles of those shelves.
You don't have to. Just go to your divider and drawers right there above it. So we're just going to change our linear division 1-to-1, and we're going to pick an actual adjustable shelf. And just make it 1-to-1. Enter. Instead of virtual, we want an adjustable shelf. All right. Oh, get your ellipsis. This is going to be a lip up microphone shelf, or lip down, or whatever you're doing.
Somebody saved the single door with the shelf that we just made. So now whenever you put a single door, it's got this crazy shelf. I mean, I know how to change it. We gotta see problems that people are saving on the library. Right? See it.
The code of Marcus does it.
So
Go
Kevin,
ahead,
I believe
go ahead.
I would use the part definition, the bottom part that we used before.
So we want to go make a new part definition. You can scroll up to the ones you made before. We'll start with those. Really, we just need a new multiple part definition. Scroll up a little higher. Those are somebody else's. There you go. Yep, so you can rename that one.
Oh, so
Any one of them, it's fine. Just need a new master part for lip up shelf. Lip down, whatever you're doing.
so this is the master one, right?
This will be the master one, yes. Okay, so we want to go to next to core material, hit the ellipsis there, pull up our multiple part interface, radio button, multiple part, construction points, all we need is the default 0, 1, 0. Hit new there to add them. All right, elements.
Yo, so I restarted,
We need the part definition for top or bottom, whichever one you're doing here. Yep, apply that. Oh, you have to rename it.
Oh, can I use that one? 'Cause
Yeah, why not? All right, and then pick your points. Okay, new. And hit new to add it to the list. All right, now we want to go get the lip part. Yep, detach your points. And as you saw from last time, you want to go right to left so that it's in the part rather than on the face of the part. So that puts it on the face of the part, you see. That's inside the part. And then the Z value, how tall do you want it to be?
1.5 inches.
Okay, not Z offset. Z offset moves the parts away from each other. Z value, when you're doing a on edge part, is how tall the part is. Nope, you want to hit the new button. Change your Z value. Yeah. Pick them again. Change your Z value. Yep. Don't hit enter. You want to hit new to add it to the list. There you go. And then check your graphic. Make sure that's what you're looking for.
Yep.
Okay. Green, check it. All right. Go ahead and apply it. We'll take a look at it. Yeah, I guess we do have to get rid of those other parts, don't we? It looks like they came over on that shelf zone. You see the shelf zone? Double click, turn them off. All right, green check that. Let's see what we got there. All right, so we're gonna have to add a profile to those two edges to do the miter, if you want it to visually look correct. You want to go right there on your divider drawers, go to your ellipsis down there. For definition. All right, so we want to find the two parts that we use, the bottom part and the lip part. Let's look at the bottom part first. From your list up there. Okay, so we want to add a miter to edge number 1. So right now it has PRF00. So I need the ellipsis there. We'll see what we got. We may have to make one. Well, I think we may have one. All right, open up that folder for WCAD cam profile. And let's look at general machine profiles. Let's see there first. General machine profiles, the second folder. Yeah, there's a bunch in there. You have to click on them and see if you can find one. Go to the top, see if we can find one that's in here. I think there's a 45 bottom, 45 top there. Right, one miter's one way, one miter's the other. I think we want the 45 top on this one. Go ahead and apply that. All right, save that, go to the lip part. Let's see the 45 bottom on this one. Got a 50-50 chance here. Okay. MIP 45 bottom. Yep. Save. Close, don't apply. All right. Green check, see what we got. Either exactly right or exactly wrong.
Wrong.
Exactly wrong. All right, just go to Element Manager, Main Data Element Manager. Okay, so I brought you right back to your lip part. We'll switch that one to top. It should be in the drop down, or you can go pick it, doesn't matter. Yep, save that, go to the bottom part, flip it around. Save, close, and refresh your article. I'm going to say you didn't get the bottom part saved there. The lip looks good now.
Yeah, the bottom has to be flipped up.
Go back to your element manager and switch it. Maybe they should both be top. Yep. Flip it from bottom to top there. Should be in your drop down. Yep. Refresh article. There you go. All right, so visually, it's mitered together, right? So how do we miter fold it? What's the trigger for the miter fold? You just did it, do you remember? All right, so it's manufacturing information. Go back to your element manager. This time we're going to apply it to the part definition. Bottom part, manufacturing information. Okay. Let's use the MPE start at the bottom down there. So MF MPE start. This is a multiple part entity. Go ahead and apply that. Save it. And on the lip part, you want to make that the MF MPE end part. That's it. Save and close.
Okay.
Well, really the trigger for miter folding is, of course, you have to have that key in that configuration file to allow the folding parts. And then it's just a matter of assigning manufacturing information to your start, middle, and end part. Questions, Robert? Anybody?
About this part, not as of now, unless anybody else.
All right. So no questions. Let's take a restroom break. When we come back, Robert, I'm going to have you make me a miter fold one that's a lip down instead of a lip up. Okay?
Try.
All right. Take a restroom break.
All right. Okay.
was trying to figure out what time we want to try and go in or work.
All right, we're all back. Sorry.
Oh, yes, sir, I'm here.
Okay, we're ready.
Okay, so make me a lift down fill. Same process.
Same process. All right, I want to save this for us.
I don't know. We're trying to find out. I'm going to ask him. I'll talk to him about it. Okay, well, it doesn't mean that he went out today and do it, because he told you horses, but I don't want to text him my phone bill. I mean, why don't you just set up your own Sprint account?
Do you think I have money to pay for it every month? He's almost 21.
I'm going to avoid college.
Okay, a little help here.
Okay, so we want to make the shelf, divider drawers, go to your shelf, do construction principle, lift the part. Come on, we just did this like twice, 3 times. If it's not clicking for you, let's take some notes. Divider drawers, the shelf. We're making a shelf, right?
Right.
Wrong divider drawers. You already have the shelf assigned on the divider drawers above that. Yeah, right there. We're gonna make a lift down miter for it.
So can I use the bottom part and modify it? telling me, Dick?
Do you want to just rename this one to your lift down shelf? You already have the parts, right?
All right.
However, your miters are going to be going the other way, so you're going to need a different bottom part and a different lift part. Okay, Robert, this is your master part, right?
Correct.
All right, go into your multiple parts and look at your elements tab. For the elements tab, you have the points you need. You have parts. So this one's lift up. We need one that's lift down. Well, we're going to need a different bottom part and a different lift part because the miters are going to be opposite. Correct?
Right.
Okay. So start with the lift part. Get the part definition. Okay, make another lift part, and you got to move your miter from edge 1 to edge 3. There's going to be a lift down now, so the lift up. Make a new lift part.
Okay, so I can use this one and apply it, right? And then change it.
No, this one is used on the lift up, which is mitered on edge number 1. You need a part that's going to lift down, so it's going to miter on edge number 3 on the opposite edge. So you need another part here. Rename this one. You can use it as a starter, but you got to need another one. Otherwise, when you modify this, it's going to modify your lift up shelf you just created. You understand?
Yes, right.
Show.
So you're still going to want the top miter just on a different edge, right?
Correct.
Okay, so discard this. Let's take it off of edge 1. It's not going to be edge 1 anymore. We're going to be down, so it's going to be on edge 3. Do you see that?
All right, so edge 1, I should change it to 0.
Change it to PRF00. Put that miter on edge 3. Good. Save and apply that. Okay, and now here you want to apply because you got it in the right location, but we need to change the part definition, so apply the new part definition. And that's a lift part down.
Okay, so new part definition. Yeah.
And we're going to need a Z offset for this part too. So it needs to move 3/4. I believe it should be negative in this case. Let's try it negative. I think that's right. And apply that. All right, now you also need a different bottom part because the miter has to go the other direction.
So can I use this one and modify, or just?
Yep. Yeah, you can select that one. Yep, select that one. Get the ellipsis at the bottom and then just modify it.
I'm studying another friend and they walked away for 3 minutes. So I put it on. That's professional.
Okay, so make sure you apply that to replace the other part. Screen check, you should be good there.
Looking good.
There you go. So now you have multiple parts for lift up, lift down. You've done it about 3 different ways here. Is it starting to make sense to you?
It does, but I just have to sit with it and practice it. That's all.
Right.
But
Of course,
definitely makes sense.
now that you've got these lift up, lift down shelves created, you can put them in anything. They're just another construction principle. The real trigger for the miter folding, though, is the manufacturing information.
All right, so I'm gonna save that. And there's a suggestion of modifying door drawer reveals between door drawers.
Say that again.
There's another suggestion to go over how to modify gaps or reveals between doors, drawers, basically fronts. I know that we set up our 332nd, but how to manually override them.
Okay,
Somewhere in that ballpark.
no problem. So once you're ready, drop the cabinet and tell me what you want to do.
One second, Larry. I'm gonna ask guys exactly.
Nope, no worries.
Yeah, draw a row of base and a row of upper,
And play with the doors to make different offsets between them, the different gaps, I mean. So when you want to have different gaps, like we can control every box individually.
zero, not the next one. The other side.
Yeah, yeah.
How does this do?
Even if we had, for example,
Equalize the
between,
doors and stuff like that.
if we have, for example, lines between the boxes.
Yeah.
So you want to have those
Some to zero,
doors
some
going
to
through.
zero.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then the rest of them are 30 seconds.
Yes. And that's what we want. Then yes, then we touch, and before we touch on the height of the drawers, and before we touch on the height of the drawers, we change the formula. I've already done that. I'm not going to do this. Or, same thing, same thing. Figure it out.
All right, Larry. So basically we have, let's say, few cabinets next to each other, and we want to control the gaps between doors on one of them. For example, we have a box, appliance, and another box, and we want to have doors to be on two boxes, two cabinets coming to an end, meaning there is zero reveal, and then two other boxes, let's say 330 seconds as our standard. So control the gaps on individual cabinets in width-wise. Let's actually top and bottom also.
Yeah, that's easy. So just go ahead and draw up your whatever it is, the scenario you have, and we'll do it real quick. It's easy.
All right, I'm just going to add. Am I about to crush?
I have the same error popping up on mine.
Yeah, no doubt about it. You're going to crash. Just hit OK, let it crash, and oh, maybe not. I'd save your order to be safe.
What got screwed up?
That's the one that's going.
Oh, I got you. To be safe, should I close it and restart it, or just keep going?
No, if you saved it, so you should be able to just keep going. You should be all right.
All right, I think that's enough. The idea is, let's say our standard here is 330 seconds gap between. So for example, this one, we want to go to 0.
Okay, so go to article related. Yeah, you have your default set as 330 seconds. So go to article related variables for that article.
Are you at?
Oh, here I believe we should check the
Should check the what?
Not the main level of cabinets, but the individual box.
Yeah, now you want to go to the individual because you don't want to change all the cabinets. You just want to change this one, right?
That's correct.
So this is article related variables. Yep, enter. So these are under job order setup. Front settings. Gap settings. Okay, so you see you got your bottom top, bumper, centered, horizontal, capper. You don't have a gap left, gap right?
Nope.
Why not? Did we move them somewhere? So this happens when you have a finished end, right?
Hold on, Larry. I hear a lot of noise. I didn't hear you.
I think we tied this to the finished end. So this is a finished end scenario, correct?
I still have a hard time to hear you.
So this is a finished end scenario, correct?
Yes.
All right. I'm sorry. So go to product article setup. Down a little bit to the next folder. Product article setup. And finished ends. Open that up. I think we put it in there. Nope. Up. Finished ends. Yep. Yeah, there's your gap left and right. All right, so select the folder finished ends. Okay. Under the article value column, you click in that column where that row is. There's a drop-down box. Nope. On the row, finished ends. The row you have highlighted, yeah. On that row. In the column, yep, click in there. Click, drop down the box. Finished end left. You see that automatically changes gap left down there to 0. You see that, Robert? Look down through the variables. You see where gap left is? You see that it changed that value to 0?
Yes.
In the article column.
Right there.
Yep. So just apply that. Upper right, apply. I remember Rudy and I setting this up.
What if it's not a finished end, Larry?
Okay, so we'll take the one on the right and say it's not a finished end. But you still want to change the gap.
That's right.
Okay, so article related.
Let's go.
The finished end is a value set, so it makes a bunch of changes just based on whether it's a finished end or not. But you can manually say under product article setup in finished end. So gap right, just click in the article value and set it to whatever you want. So the value sets that are on the folder for the finished ends were what Rudy had talked to me about. Here's what we want to do automatically, so we automated that. But you always have the ability to go in and manually make it whatever you want. Just hit OK right here.
Okay.
So any variable that's available can be changed at the order level. I want to change the whole order this way, or you can change it article by article.
Got it. All right, then. So let's have a test. Do the same thing height-wise. Let's say if I'm gonna drop, I wanna drop down this door to have a finger pull.
Yeah, just this one cabinet.
Well, I know it doesn't really make sense at this point, but let's say just one cabinet.
Yeah, so that's the article related variable. Okay, so that's in job order setup. Yep. Front settings and gap settings. Those are gaps, B top.
Oh, that's easy.
We aim to please, my friend. So the moral of the story, really, Robert, anything that's using a variable, that variable can be changed for the whole order, everything, or on any individual article. If that variable is used anywhere on that article, you can change it just for that article.
Okay. Yeah, that's easy enough. Same idea was to do with the upper cabinets, but I guess at this point doesn't make sense to do it.
That's the same thing. The only thing that wouldn't hold true on would be if you're doing a drawer stack, like 4 or 5 drawers, and you wanted to control each and every gap individually, different from the others. Or maybe I just got between the bottom and the 4th drawer, I want to change that gap. Then that would be a little bit different. Which we did that.
Actually, that's a good example. Maybe if you could walk us through with that, that would be helpful.
All right, so let's put in a drawer stack. When we did this the other day, we'll do it again. Okay, so here's a scenario. We don't want to change all the gaps in between all the drawers. We just want to change one of the gaps between the drawers. Okay? So now we can no longer use the variables because the variable controls all the gaps equally. There's just one variable for all the gaps. And we want to just change one gap. Okay?
Okay.
So modify article. Okay. And we're on our drawers right here. So what causes the program to read the gap variables we have set? It uses a design parameter. And this checkbox enables front definition. That's what tells it, hey, use those gaps. So if you uncheck that box, instead of our 111 drawer front height top, let's uncheck that. That converts to what are the actual gaps. Okay, so we've got 0 at the bottom, and this other variable in between, and you can just put any value you want to in between any of those that you want to change. Let's say we want to change between the bottom and the 3rd drawer. Right now it's at 0.09375 inches. That'll be at the top. So it's the 2nd one there. Okay, that would be between the 2nd and 3rd drawer. That would be between the 3rd and bottom drawer. So let's change that gap, whatever you want it to be. Maybe we want it to be a half inch.
But those values go are from the bottom up, right?
Yep. As they read left to right, they're bottom to top.
Why it keeps jumping on me way to the front, so I cannot see it?
I don't know how you're doing that. I've never seen it do that.
I'm just deleting digit in front of my cursor, and it just jumps way to the front. And I can't see what I'm doing.
Yeah, I tried backspacing, starting the other end and backspace rather than delete.
Oh, I changed the value to half inch.
Okay. You can just green check and draw it up.
Already changed.
So that enable front definition is what causes the program to say, okay, I'm using a design parameter. I'm going to read the gaps from my design parameter. And in the case of a drawer stack, it uses that same gap between all the drawer fronts. So if you want to control just one of the gaps on the stack, then you have to uncheck that box and manually put it in there.
I see. And then the width will be exactly the same idea as we did with doors a minute ago.
Correct.
Going through article-related variables.
Right. If you wanted to change the gap at the side, then exactly like we did with the doors.
Okay. Okay, I'm crashing now.
Now you are going to crash. Just say no. Doesn't help to do that. So close your manager there, hit the X at the top of the manager and click. Don't drag it. Nope. Right there, yeah. The reason it's wide is because the recovery manager is behind it. So close the recovery manager.
How do I turn it back up?
Well, wait a minute. Close this dockable container that's drawing recovery manager. X out of that. Move your mouse over to the top. There's an X there on the right side of it where it says drawing recovery manager. Yeah, X out of it. All right. Now, turn it back on, you hit the manager button on your system tool there. There you go.
Okay, is there a feature like we have drawn a cabinet, whatever article, and turns out to be that, let's say, instead of full overlay cabinet, customer wants face frame cabinet. Is there any way to just swap article so it keeps the same dimensions but has different look? Basically replacing article with another article.
Yes, there is a replacement.
Drawing.
Yep. Well, you'd have to have one of the new articles drawn in the drawing somewhere to replace it.
Couldn't I just pick from the library, let's say drop one box and then replace it with something else? Let's say cabinet with two doors, replace it with cabinet and drawers.
I mean, you can't just from the library. Let's say I have just one cabinet drawn. I can't just replace that one cabinet. Unless I have another cabinet in the drawing that's the one I want to use, then I can replace it. Go ahead and draw something in. I'll show you what I mean. Ooh.
Am I getting this error again?
Okay.
Oh, I believe that's the, this is the cabinet?
Okay.
Yeah, I
So
believe
if you just
this
have,
one.
yeah, if you just have one cabinet in there, You're not able just to replace
Alright,
that from with something out of the library. You have to actually have another cabinet drawn if you want to replace it with.
All right, so the window that we are having, excuse me, the window that we are having once bringing this cabinet in is really was modifying it. That he must have messed up it somehow.
Oh, and he saved it back to the library like that, didn't he? All right.
That's right. So anyway, so this cabinet, so I would like to replace this cabinet with, let's say, two-door cabinet, but keep the same size of drawers.
So you can replace any cabinet with any other cabinet, but it takes on, the one that's being replaced takes on the properties of the one you're using to replace it with. So draw me a two-door base in there. Just anyway.
Attached to it or just anywhere?
Just anywhere. All right, so if I wanted to replace that one-door base with that two-door base, we can do that. But the one-door base is now going to take on the size and properties of the two-door base. It's not going to keep the original size.
So I guess that's what we're looking for, to just change the look of it, but have the same dimensions. Am I correct, guys? Yep.
So if you wanted to do that, then you would have to modify the dimensions on this two-door base to what you wanted and then replace it.
So isn't it almost like making this cabinet from scratch again?
No. So modify article on the two-door base. That's what I want to replace the other one with. I want to match this cabinet. But I would have to set the size on this one that I wanted. So what size do you want it to be?
So hold on, I'm gonna check what's the other one, and we just make the same size.
Okay.
Right, so just the width goes down to 21 inches.
Okay. We can check it. All right. Either main data or the article designer tab, either one, there's a replace article right below refresh article. So you have to pick the one you want to copy first. So the one you want to copy first. And then pick the one you want to change. Enter. You want to replace all the selected articles, yes or no? Yes. Enter.
Yes.
So that's how the replace works. It doesn't maintain. And although I see it didn't replace that shelf.
only maybe this is the troubled cabinet that we have.
Yeah, can you give me keyboard and mouse? Let me fix that up for you. So tell Rudy to be careful when he saves. He wants to save as something new unless he really wants to overwrite.
I'm sure he heard you.
Oh, so I shouldn't say anything bad about him? Is that what you're saying? If you can hear me?
Right.
All right, mouse should be yours.
Deliberate so everybody could see what could happen.
Did you hear that, Larry?
No. What
If
did he say?
Rudy messed up this cabinet in a purpose, so you can show us how to fix it.
Yeah, I just wanted to grab that formula. Let's see how bad he messed it up. Oh, come on. That's we replaced that one, didn't we? Let's fix this guy. That's what's causing the error, by the way. What the heck did you do, Rudy? Okay. He hella broke it, didn't he? Hmm. Wow, that's wild. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. There. You could be either, you don't know. Yeah. Sorry, Ray, I had to kill your mic. That sound was killing me.
Oops.
There was something really wrong with that, wasn't there? Okay.
That's better.
Resolved it. Yeah. I think it was because we were telling it to crim it miter, and then we also had a miter profile on the edge, so it was double mitered. We just didn't like it. Okay, where were we?
We were swapping cabinet.
Yeah, so the replace only works. You can replace, any cabinet you're drawing with any other cabinet you're drawing, but it takes on the properties of the other cabinet. So if you want the size to match, then you have to adjust the size of whatever you're using for the replacement. So like if I want to replace this cabinet with this cabinet, it's going to be this size. And so basically just takes the cut list off of whatever cabinet you're selecting and replaces the cut list for the other cabinet, size and everything.
Okay. So then basically I think just in Modify article we changed the size of it based on the previous one, and should be it.
Yeah. No, there's not a replace, like go over here and say, hey, I want to replace this cabinet with a drawer stack. There's not an option available for that. It's you can replace anything in the drawing with anything else, but it takes on the properties of the original, not the one that you're replacing.
Okay.
What else you got?
Yesterday when we were placing cabinets on the wall, we made the grid and we set up spacing from the wall 3/4. There was some confusion later on when we were doing it, and I think the value, I'll have to start drawing, I can explain.
Okay, go ahead.
So now when we have this grid and we are placing cabinet,
Yeah.
okay, we're going, right, and we wanted to have this to be 3/4 off the wall.
Okay, well you don't have a line there. It's 3/4 off the wall.
So can this grid to be, say,
Yep. So go modify your grid.
is it that once we set up this grid, it's going to stay, or every drawing that we start will have to set up new grid?
Oh well, no. You can save the default grid, but you have to save it in your template. we'd have to change it in your template.
Okay. Shall we do that?
So, yep, we can do that. So go over and
How
open.
to get it to work first.
All right, somebody said something like getting it to work first. So if you want 3/4 off the wall,
Correct.
if you want to place it on this line here, is that it?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
So you want to place it 4 inches off the floor and 3/4 inches off the wall, basically. You want it up here, but out on this line.
Yes.
That's correct.
How the hell would I do that?
The only place I saw that is when you don't just click it, just enter it there. Go to the next screen.
I can get to the line. but
Rudy suggest to click on that and go to our grid. You wanna go to
No. Just place it. Just place it on the wall. And right here, where you see click this one.
the first tab from. Oh, hold on. Let me do it, Larry.
Yeah, this
And the distance one from the wall.
That's always
yeah, you can do that.
But you need to have all this thing.
Yeah. Maybe that's one way you can do it. So it's going to be on the wall. Four inches up. So you get down close to the 4 inches, wherever you're going to place it.
Next time, this time. Just follow this one.
Right. So every other cabinet that we place, and when we pick alignment with this first cabinet and aligning with back of it, it's going to be already 3/4 of the wall, correct?
Yep.
Okay, that's what we want.
That's what we this
So is there any other way to do this, or the way we just did it? Meaning
No,
that
I was thinking that you could pick
yeah, because that's
place
what we thought, but it didn't work somehow, and that's why we revising this today.
Yeah, I think the issue is because you're up off the floor also. I'm gonna turn this off. Just make me mad. It's still snapped back to the wall. So you can set it off the wall, but only on the floor. Since you have since you have the 4-inch loose kick and you want to be up in the air, it's probably the only way to do it is place it on the wall and then use that distance 1 to move it to 3/4. But I can't default the value in there for you.
Okay, that's it. Yeah.
What if we added a 3/4 cleat to the back of the cabinet?
Okay, good suggestion.
Pump it up.
Rudy says, what if we just add 3/4 cleat that installers use and make it part of the box and then place it on the wall?
Yeah, if you did that, then that 3/4 cleat is going to be part of the depth value. So it would cut the rest of your parts down 3/4. Follow
Okay.
me?
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, when we modify article, we have to take into consideration the 3/4 for the cleat.
But let me think about this. So what could we do? You always build them that way, and you always put that cleat.
Yeah, that's our standard. We have cabinets always setting up 3/4 of the wall, both uppers and base.
Okay, so we could do this. I got an idea. Don't worry, I'll be okay. So if we modify this grid, what's the height off the floor for the cleat?
Usually 4 inches. Oh, usually we line up with the top of the box.
What's the
Whatever
default value? What's the default value?
1 second. With or without base?
Robert, I think he means height. I think he means 34.5, I think.
Well, yeah, off the floor would be 34. Well, I would go 34 3/4 because usually the countertop is 1.25 inches, right? Stone.
Yeah, all the time, yeah.
Like in kitchens, right? So assuming that,
I'm gonna see what you have for your default value. We'll just see. So 34.5. All right. So what if we and how tall is this cleat that you use?
it's about 4 inches.
Bear with me a second. I got an idea. We'll see if this works for you. Control this. And what do you make this out of?
3/4 ply.
Three-quarter maple ply.
That's fine. It's nothing that we would cut. It's basically scrap piece used by installers.
All right, so what we could do, do you guys make the cleats and cut them and send them, or do you just
I mean, no, installers cut by hand whatever they need.
so that's going on the floor? 696. So if I have a product, an article that's the wall cleat, now I can say put it in front of that. Line it up at the top, front. How's that work for you?
Yeah, that's a good idea. It makes sense that we could start it out with this cleat because obviously the height of boxes, our cabinets will vary depending on thickness of countertop. Yeah, but that's a good starting point.
Just an idea. Otherwise, you can place it on the wall and then use that distance 1 3/4, move it off the wall. What do you think, Rudy?
Yeah, he's fine with it.
Okay. Either way, either one of those techniques should work for you and get you what you want.
We could. All right, that works.
And so, do you? I know I asked you this, but I didn't catch the answer. Do you cut these parts, or is this just scrap stuff that you send to the job, or what do you do?
Yeah, scrap pieces. We don't machine that.
Okay, so the only other thing you'd want to do is. Where the hell did I put that?
That's right, but having this article now, we could, let's say, include to the cutting list.
Good. You just specify whatever size you want there. If you don't want to cut it, then you'll want to right here in your manufacturing information, you can assign a virtual part so it doesn't get sent to the cut list.
Okay.
So then it's not included at all. But if you want to cut it, then of course you want to assign something. So you did cut it. But that'll make it not go to the cut list.
Okay, that works.
There you go. I don't know where the heck I saved it.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, there it is. Or you can put it wherever you want to, of course. Just like anywhere else, you can drag and drop stuff in folders here in your library also and organize it.
Okay. Other thing I have on the list is to cut grills in the baseboard. Let's say that sits in front of a refrigerator just for an airflow.
Okay.
That usually would be part of the base between cabinets that it's removable. So it's pretty much separate piece and has grills cut in it. Yeah, slots.
Okay, so let's make it. Just a single part.
I think, yeah, that would be an article that they can modify the length of it later on. So it'd be 3/4 by usually 4 inches high, and some. Usually it's about 3 slots in it. Right?
Don't.
Just goes between two cabinets, basically.
That's correct. Let's say we have base cabinets, and between them there is a refrigerator 24 inches wide. So that refrigerator has separate base, and it needs ventilation on the bottom. So we need like 3 slots. Usually we do, if I'm not mistaken, half inch, and about half-inch spacing between them.
So we'll just go down here between these two guys. Over the toe kick, whatever. All right. Set the back a little ways to match up with the toe kicks.
That's correct. Usually we can set it back just like other cabinets, about 3 inches set back. But I wonder if we should just make an article, let's say 24 inches wide with 3 slots in it, and then we can just place this article into the drawing.
Yeah, I think that'd be the way to go. If it's it's a standard thing that you do, right?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, what we should do is make that an article. Just have the one part with the slots already cut in it, and then if the opening changes and the slots grow, I'm assuming they stop like an inch or inch and a half from the end or something like that.
It would be fit between other 2 bases with, let's say, like, I don't know, 30-second gap on each side. That's it.
Right, but you said it has 3 slots. You said it has 3 slots in it for airflow, so the slots would have to stop before we get to the end of the board at some point, right?
Right. So about, like 1.5 to 2 inches from the edges of that baseboard.
Okay, I'm going to say get your thoughts together on that, and let's do that. We'll put that first on our agenda for tomorrow. We'll build that article. Do you guys remember, just to get you thinking about it, do you remember when we went through in part definitions? This is that wall cleat I just did. Remember, we have machining that we can apply to any part. So easiest would be a rectangular pocket. We put 3 rectangular pockets with radius ends and run a slot. Or we can do a groove. It's just one route. So think about that. I need to know what the spacing is, how far it stops from the end, how wide is the slot, all that kind of good stuff. We'll build that article. It's just going to be the one part.
Okay.
But I would say you would want to just select your toe kick, put it to the left or right of your toe kick you know, from the adjacent cabinets and have it fill in that space. Type in whatever size you want. Right?
Yeah, that's the way to go.
All right, think that through. Have all that information ready when we start our session in the morning. We'll build that article.
All right, Larry.
Any more last-minute questions for today, for what we looked at?
I'm guessing this is it.
No questions. Okay, well, that'll be it for today then. Rudy, email for what we covered today, and I still haven't got one from Tuesday from you. I assume you can hear me, right, Robert?
Yeah, he can.
Okay. All right, gentlemen. I will see you tomorrow, same time. You guys have a good rest of the day and be safe.
All right, Larry. Have a good night.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.